Hi guys, it's me, just finishing again, and I would like to wish all the fathers out there in internet land a very happy and safe Father's Day for 2026. Now, as per tradition on this channel, I like to talk about every movie in the Planet Apes franchise. So, for two reasons. Number one, I father likes them. And number two is that I haven't seen them all. So, today's little viewing was the fourth movie in the original series of Planet Apes. And the name of this masterpiece was Conquest of the Planet Apes. Now, what's to know about this movie is that it's the only one in the original run that had a PG rating on it. That'd be one step above the G ratings for all the others. So what makes this one so special? Well, I'll get to that in a minute, my duckies. Because it's pretty intense. Or intense for the sake of the movie. Because this movie did come out in 1972. So, by today's standards, stuff involved is kind of tame. Especially because you consider that most of the people in it are in costumes. So it's not really too intense, but I'll try to get through it. I'm gonna have to hold your hand for it. But this movie is interesting because it sets up the events that were present in the original movie in 1968. Called obviously the Planet of the Apes. So anyway, this movie is very odd because it features Ricardo Montalban in not his best role. I'll admit that. As well as Harry let's go the name again. Oh yeah, Harry Rhodes. Now, Montalban plays Mondo, and Rhodes plays a dog. Now they are owners to Caesar, played by Rod McDowell, and he would be the son of the chimpanzees from the third movie, Dr. Cornelius and Zira. So yeah, it's kind of it's madhouse, a madhouse. It's kind of this movie is kind of a little boring, kind of samey, and more of kind of what you would expect from a movie like this. And it's got a lot of political violence, a lot of satire. Less about more of the it's less about the twist of the whole Planet Apes franchise, and more of just sadistic cruelty. And what I mean by that is that the apes in the movie are treated like, unsophisticated animals, like you would expect from this type of thing. But the humans don't know when to stop it. They don't know the limitations of human or ape tolerances. For example, use uh, they use electrotherapy to try to control the ape's more base emotions and actions, which for those that don't want to conform to what they want. And they can use flamethrowers on the poor things too. So you didn't feel sorry for these poor creatures. And then there are the fact that they walk and they don't really talk that much in human speech. The only one that actually does so is Caesar, because he was a descendant of the original apes from the first couple movies. So it kind of means like time loop type thing where the two parents came back in time, gave birth to this leader, if you will, that leads the army of apes to conquer humanity, to lead to the events of the first movie. So it's kind of like a John Connor or Skynet type of situation, but a little more confusing, if you will, because these apes are more like primitive. Like they don't walk, they don't speak anything. At least in the newer movie Rise of the Planet of the Apes, they explain that they're given like a serum to try to boost their intelligence and their actions into being more human, and so that it makes conquering the Earth a lot easier. Yeah, Rise of the Planet of the Apes definitely has better ideas and better concepts, but this one actually started the whole idea, the whole avalanche of ideas and such. So this movie comes a little bit more of like a good first try, but didn't stick landing too well, in my book at least, because the technology wasn't quite there yet, the animal rights wasn't there yet, and I mean I've seen many abuse things in the past where apes and humans get abused and treated cruelly for the most minor of offenses, and it just doesn't really hit me as much as it should, I think. Although back then, in the 70s, when this movie first came out, I'm sure that the impact was much more visceral and poignant, because I believe that the animal rights activism and all that first came to fruition during this time period, which it was birthed during the 60s. So it was more impactful back then. Also, speaking of which, this movie was definitely from the 70s because of all the new therapies and stuff, and the electrotherapy, which I found to be very almost hilarious in the way they overreact. I mean, these apes shouldn't be loose and able to hurt themselves and other people, but they're flexing their back and forth. They're doing all kinds of backflips and in their restraints. They're doing they have their eyes open. They have their kind of look like the Ludicolo technique from A Color Orange, but sillier. And they were doing like all kinds of other things. Like, for example, they were doing one person that did like they had the camera set on his crotch region, so when he was doing kind of string out, it looked like the monkey was, it looked like the ape was gonna give birth to something nasty. So that's kind of silly. I mean, I know it was depicting somebody in pain, but the movie One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest portrayed that in a much more realistic light. I haven't McMurphy, restrained down on the table. They did have apes in the same restrained position, but they just overacted it a little too much. Then the they said to fry him was like kind of silly, actually. And they brought the fact that they tried him and they split possum and the whole thing, and then escaped, and then gathered his forces and whatever. But it was really kind of funny when they were trying to have the slave auction for the apes, like in the movie, like in the 2001 version of Planet of the Apes, where they had them being told, the humans being told, but in this case they were the apes. And it was funny because some of the black actors that played McDonald would put laughing at us inside, because later on he was saying that my ancestors were being sold into slavery. Now it's your turn to be sold into slavery. And I found that kind of funny in a dark way. No pun intended with that one, but it's still pretty funny. And also the music and the sound effects were very much of the 70s, as well as some of the freaky, deaky, light show in it too. I was pretty cute, pretty adorable. Being in a laboratory setting, having green, red, and blue, almost strobe lights in it, that was pretty adorable too. Let's see what else there. But yeah, my favorite part of the whole bunch was when they said on a loudspeaker that there would have to be four chimpanzee or 4 apes that had to be fertilized. So you have to have 4 ape male apes that fertilize the 4 females. So you see them Caesar walking with McDonald, and him looking over and seeing 2 regular chimpanzees, but possibly when they met, I can't read chimpanzee, but they were moving around in kind of a suggestive way to be same effect as seeing twins for us, flotation but then, it didn't register anything, it didn't compute, these are technically females. But then, with Trophy, because in the next flip over, they had a twin, it's so funny. They had this other chimpanzee, but himself, like a person in a suit type thing, and she was actually saying, yoo-hoo, come here, you. I got something for you here. Now, and it was just so funny because she was floating with her eyes, like, wink, wink. I want you in here now, baby. And that was so funny. Also, what was funny was that they had like a light cells, and by that I mean that they would put in like prison cells, and the switch would be turned on, and then the lights would come on in the door frame, and that was supposed to be like the invisible way of telling them to back off of the door, otherwise you'd be electrocuted. So basically, it was like a cheaper way of saying, you're in prison. But when Caesar started to get his posse together, his group of apes that want to be free and shoot them and kill the people that were in prison, and they come out with torches and spears and sharp objects against humans with I'm not even joking, but they look like a cross between Roman soldiers and British bobbies or boobies, whichever you prefer. And the weapon of choice at first was revolvers. I shit you not. Celeste reloading revolvers, like 6 shooting revolvers, and it was really entertaining to see them shooting these ape dead, like see them. And they didn't hold back on the ability that they really did like shoot paintball pellets out there, spectaculars, and they did explode like real blood. So that's where the PG-13, the PG-3 came from. I'm sure that if they had it back then, it would be a PG-13, or maybe R, for all the death and animal torture. So anyway, they killed them, and the forces end up saying, oh shit, these revolvers are doing nuts to these guys. Let's evolve into shotguns. And for some odd reason, there's Caesar over there operating a M4 rifle. I shit you not, they had him using an assault rifle, whereas the other apes had like pistols, shotguns, and spears and sticks, and all that. He gets a superior weapon. So you see the army actually using like more durable weapons like shotguns and then assault rifles too. So it was kind of interesting to see that. There were no vehicles. They didn't have any cars or tanks or anything like that, or choppers or anything like that. I think that's important if you want to express the uprising of intelligent apes. And it was funny because they were saying that they can't do this. They're not intelligent enough for this. Oh yeah, hold my beer. Especially when they were landing to the still heavy door. And they like, we're gonna get you, and we're gonna kill everyone. We're gonna kill women, the children, and we're gonna slaughter them all like animals. And they did. And for a time it was good. So I like the fact that when in the beginning Caesar under a model guidance would keep quiet during the whole thing whenever anyone would stop him and be curious about him, every owner of apes would say, no, sir. No, you can't do that. You can't be curious. You can't invest your time in this person or whatever. And I was like, oh, what did I say? Why can't we just why can't we let them have friends? Why can't we let them be curious about anything? So they really drove home the fact that human beings are the devil to these creatures. And by the end of the movie, like, you was like, you filthy bastard, you filthy human bastards and all that stuff. Because it's all firsthand how we treat apes, how we treat our own kind poorly. We treat apes that went horribly because we were descendants of, they were our descendants, so we don't want to go back to that. We don't want to treat them better than us. We don't want to be like, hey Grandpa, I respect you, I love you, and all that stuff. We want to beat Grandpa almost to death for it, or even think of it rather than against us. So anyway, that's kind of a confusing type message, in that they were trying to say that they were our ancestors, but they are filthy animals. They are filthy stinking apes, and we won't take it from them. Let's see here. So I like reading the movie. Yeah, Caesar saying that we'll solve our own religion, our own political system, our own government without human beings involved. Just like the guy from the first movie, that weird monk, the weird orangutan that wanted to keep everything on the low for human development and stuff. And that's superior. Yeah, he did another cameo in the beginning of this movie saying that he escaped from the planet Apes, begot the Conquest of Planet Apes. So I have seen that in the next movie, I think that the Conquest to the Battle of Planet Apes. And then the movie comes up with it, it's called The Milking of the Planet Apes. Because this is kind of absurd now. I mean, if you thought the prequels to Star Wars are bad, this is very, really bad. Because you have the original that was a classic, Planet of the Apes. Then you got, you got Beneath the Planet of the Apes. Then you got the Escape from the Planet of the Apes and Conquest and Battle. So it's getting progressively worse and worse as to that event that leads to the Planet of the Apes movie. So it's kind of stupid and cold. They had some good ideas, they couldn't pull off properly, and they tried to cram too much into one movie at once. So, we had the technology to do it later on in the storyline. But I didn't like this movie at all. I mean, there was some funny bits, like when they did the overacting, when they did the "You come here, who are you?" and all that. That was kind of funny, and that was funny, and so was Carl Marjovan. That I so wanted for him to say the word Khan. My name is Khan, but that's kind of wishful thinking at this point. It's a movie franchise. But I didn't like this movie too much. Let's see here, so I think I'm watching this little review that I did for Conquest of the Planet of the Apes. Project Day of 2026. Okay, yeah. I would definitely give this movie my sense of emoji of crap. Because this movie was, garbage. You know, they tried to tell a lot of deep and meaningful stuff about the human race treating other species like garbage. But it just came off as being too preachy, too over the top, too, in your face. Slavery thing went too much. I mean, if you really did believe that the apes are very stupid and ignorant and all that, why are you having them with your children, with your family members, making dinner and all that other stuff, being a slave for you? What's the point? Although it did parallel American slavery pretty well. And, yeah, if you look what you see here, you want more on my channel and me, you know, like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel. You can also contact me for future videos and future information by calling me or texting me at 631-707-3707, or you can follow me on Twitter or X at PMaelstromPro. Also, you can get my email at jjsviewingchannel@gmail.com. So remember, guys, I salute anyone that likes science fiction or any type of storyline like this, but violence and cruelty have to have a point to tell the story. This done to that. It just seemed to be human beings being cruel for no reason. You know, it was like them being cruel for being over the top, meaning cruel and being very punishing to these apes for no simple reason. I mean, I can't think of any reason why they would do that. It's not like the apes beat them up or anything like that. So the humans deserved it. I think that might be the whole point, that humans deserve to have their faces beaten in by their own slaves. I guess they were trying to go for it. But, yeah, just more of a kind of messy and kind of sloppily done. Especially with the flamethrower aspect that they handled it with, shooting the flamethrower, and so when Apes got behind him and knocked him out, and the powerful weapon in the hands of the apes. So we're kind of stupid in that regard. But, yeah. Peace out, brothers and sisters. I'll see you in the next video. All you girls and guys into the have a happy Father's Day 2026. Auf Wiedersehen. Sayonara.